I'm gonna use some new technology here. So I want to thank Peter and Zaveda, the APA, and just everyone for this award. And it's just really very special to me. And I'm just really happy and really overwhelmed to get this award. I mean, Dr. Go and I go way, way back, and I'll tell that story shortly. But I really want to just thank God for just helping me do what I do, and my family, and everyone knows about Kathy and her family. Debbie, who's here, who's representing the family, they always have been very, very supportive. You know, I was just blessed to have these amazing parents who just loved me and nurtured me and cared for me and kept picking me up when I fell and just told me, you can do it and you can become something and you can be the first to go to college and our family, and you can be a doctor and you can be a chemist and you can do this. And we had no idea how to do it. We were from Appalachia, and things were really rough at times. And I remember filling out the financial aid form to college wrong. My mom and dad and I did the best we could. We'd never done that before, and it came back to us, and we had to get our guidance counselor to help us fill that form out. And we had some challenges along the way. And I started this journey back in 1981 in pre-med chemistry at Ohio University. But I really want to thank all of you for what you have done for me over the years. And I really feel that this organization is the most diverse organization that I've ever been in. And I don't feel any different than anybody else in this room when I come to the APA. And it's been that way all the way back to Chicago in those terrible hotels with no hot water. And those of us who are old enough to remember those hotels, they were bad hotels. And plus Chicago was very cold. And but the best APA, in my opinion, was when Chris Forsmark and Peter Banks combined. It was a combined APA, IAP in the early 2000s. And that APA really just blew me away. And I remember having a couple oral presentations one year at the APA on the endoscopic pancreas function test. And the people here, the senior people here, they eviscerated me. They tore me apart. And I took notes and I went back, and they made me a better researcher, a better scientist, and made me prove the test was worthwhile. And I could never thank them enough for doing that for me. And I do want to tell you that you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in you. It's very, very important that you do that. I would also want to tell you that it's not going to be easy to do what you're setting out to do, but you can do it. And I want to share with you, when I first started out in doing the pancreas function testing at the Cleveland Clinic, you know, I was the only person there doing this, and I wanted to be a medical pancreatologist, and they allowed me to see 2 patients with pancreatic disease a week. The rest of the patients were, you know, abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, the usual stuff, you know. And but we built that over 13 years to 5 clinics with the APP seeing 30 to 50 pancreas patients a week: acute pancreatitis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreas masses, cystic neoplasms. And I had this book. It was called The Pancreas, and it was an orange book. You guys remember the orange book? It was written by Bill Go and Gene DiMagno, and that was the book. That's all I had. I didn't have a mentor. I had that book. And I looked everything up in that book. I read that book cover to cover. And before I went to the clinic, I would look in the book. What do you do about a cyst? What do you do about a mass? I looked it up, and that book got me through 13 years. But later on, I just realized that I needed more. I didn't realize I needed more until Peter called me. And my life took an inflection point at that time because I had been through a very difficult divorce, and I was very hurt and disappointed because I felt I had failed at life. But I met this unbelievable lady, and it was Kathy Jo, my Kathy Jo. And she just changed my life. We got married in March of 2007, and we were off to Boston that summer, and our life just transformed. We love Boston, and Boston was like nothing we'd ever experienced before. It was different. It was magical for us. I remember telling her one time, I said, you know, Kathy, it's like Dorothy. You know, she was talking to Toto, in The Wizard of Oz. I said, she said, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. And Kathy doesn't like us when I say this, because we were having some difficult times, and I would always say, I said, Kathy, we're not in Ohio anymore. But we enjoyed Boston. Boston was magical for us. I enjoyed the theater, the symphony. Peter took us to the arts, him and Naomi was so special to all of us. She could take you to a museum and tell you everything about anything in the museum, and we just loved her to death, and we miss her. We miss her greatly. She was a special lady. It was hard to see her in the nursing home the way she was, but she loved Peter, she loved us, she loved her family. It was just she was a great lady. I will tell you though, in Boston, at the Brigham, academia was just supreme for us. And where is Vikesh? Vikesh, where are you? Stand up, Vikesh. Vikesh, stand up. Where's Boo Boo? Beechan, where are you? Where are you? Stand up, Boo Boo. And so these are my two fellows I work with. They've now gone on to be NIH funded. They're just phenomenal people. And I would say thank you guys. Love you guys. Love those guys. With Peter's mentorship, we wrote over, I think one time I counted, 55 to 56 papers in 6 to 7 years. We had a lot of oral presentations. Got an NIH grant. I mean, we cranked it out. It was so much fun. I mean, research is like a drug. I mean, if you love it, you love it. You just love it. And but then it was time to move back to Ohio, and we had a lot of things going on. My mom got very, very sick with sarcoidosis, and she's still suffering with that right now, with pulmonary hypertension, on heart failure, and all the complications associated with that. And Debbie's husband was gravely ill. And we just need to get back to Ohio. We kept flying back and forth. Kathy was flying back and forth. I said, you know what? Our family needs us in Ohio. And to leave Harvard is not easy, but we did that, knowing it was the right thing to do. And we went to Ohio State, and I just felt that God had sent us to Ohio State. I just knew it. I said, wow, this is amazing. I said, I think we can do something here. I think we can build something here. And the first person I recruited, I was at DDW before I actually signed the contract, but the rumor was out I was coming, and I got an email from Phil Hart. And I recruited Phil Hart to Ohio State. And the rest is history, Once you get Phil's an Eagle Scout. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, brave, thrifty, clean, and reverent. And that's Phil.
It's got the whole list.
Where's Phil? Phil, where are you? And then I recruited Zobeda, and Zobeda has not even touched her potential yet. She will have 5 to 7 R01s. She'll have a lab of 25 to 30 people. You're going to see it happen. She hasn't even tapped the surface of her potential. It's all in there. And the other person I recruited was George. Where's my man George? Where are you, George? Stand up, George. I recruited George, and I snuck George out of Pittsburgh, and Diraj got upset with me. And he said, Darwin, you're taking George from us. And I said, well, he wants this opportunity. I'm going to help him, support him. But what I wanted was our advanced endoscopists to see true academic advanced endoscopy. And George was doing that. There's very few advanced endoscopists. You can count them on your hand. It's George, it's Greg Cote, it's Joel Munzer, the people that are writing NIH grants as advanced endoscopists year after year and really publishing a lot of papers. And the one thing I'll say about George is I have the most fun writing a grant with George. And Kathy will tell you, when George and I write grants, it's noisy. It's like playing football, and rugby, and soccer. And I'm upstairs and I'm stomping on the floor on the Zoom call. And one Super Bowl Sunday for the T1 DAPC grant, it was Super Bowl Sunday. George and I met at the office, and we were writing. And you know what it's like, when you get in the zone, you can't leave the zone. When you're there and your brain is clicking, you remember the articles, you can complete the sentences, you know the references, and things are just flowing. And it was Super Bowl Sunday, and he called his wife, Bessie. I called Kathy, listen, we are not coming over for the Super Bowl. Can we stay here? And your family has to understand your joy, and it's a big part of your joy. And we were high-fiving each other, and we cranked out that grant. And we had the secret weapon, and our secret weapon was Phil, because Phil is like an English major. He's like an English professor. When Phil reads your grant, it's been read. And you read your major, it's been read, it's been critiqued. Phil is a great writer, so he was our secret weapon. And so we had a great time at Ohio State. I loved it there. Now I'm at Kentucky, and finding my way. And it's a great opportunity. I enjoy being there and doing what I'm doing. But I do want to tell you that you've got to balance your family and your career. You've got to take care of your family, and don't let your career interfere with your family. And put them first. Make sure that your career is rewarding, it's enduring, it means a lot to you, but don't put it in front of your family. Go to the 5-year-old birthday parties. You can't get those back. You can't get it back, and the time just goes away. I mean, I am 60 years old. This is 2023. My goodness, where has the time gone? And I'm no longer climbing the mountain. I'm out on the other side of this, And my life has been blessed. I mean, God has blessed me beyond what my wildest dreams. My goal was to make $100,000 a year and become a professor of medicine and become a doctor. And I've been blessed. I'll tell you, I've had 3 endowed chairs, and I just can't even fathom that happening to me. And now I'm a chair of medicine, and I've had so many publications. They just keep coming. And I'm just blessed to be around so many wonderful people that care about me and love me. And I'm just honored to have this award. And Dr. Go means so much to me. When I sent my first paper to Pancreas it was the CCK function test. It was a terrible paper. But he called me. This is pre-internet. This is all, phone calls, faxing. He called me and talked to me. He said, we're going to get this paper published. And he actually wrote the paper. He helped me write the paper. He essentially wrote the paper. And I thank him for that, Dr. Go, for helping me get started in my academic journey. He also, later on, when I was with Peter, I wrote a K-24 that was also terrible. And Peter said, let Bill go look at this. So he met us in Hawaii, and he had read the K-24, and he just told me, forget it. It's dead in the water. So I appreciate his honesty and his candor, and it's been awesome to have that relationship with him. I do miss his wife, Friska, because we've always take photos. Kat and I always take photos with he and his wife, and we just miss her greatly. I know you do too. But I just want to encourage you to just pursue your dreams and your passions. Believe in yourself. You can do it. There's so many people here that have helped me along the way, and I want to just have some audience participation before I wrap up. I'm going to ask you to stand if this is you. If you have been on an abstract with me, stand up. If you've been on a manuscript with me, a grant with me, if you've reviewed one of my grants, if you work with me in Cleveland, if you work with me in Boston, if you work with me in Lexington or Columbus, stand up. I want to say to you, thank you all very much for helping me, because you guys are my village, and it takes a village to get it all done. So thank you so much. So I'm going to finish with that, and I just want to tell you, just pursue your passions and go after your dreams, and they can come true. I would ask you to, when you go out into the world, you can change the world one child at a time, one good, kind thing at a time that you can do to your fellow man. Our world is challenging, but we need to be the change that we seek in our world. So thank you very much. God bless.
Wow. What a speech, Darwin. Jubeda did a great job, so did Peter, but no one can beat Darwin. I'm sorry, Peter, I'm sorry, Jubeda.